And welcome back. Welcome back. Share the live, share the live. Tell people we back on. If you're hearing me, send some fire emojis on the comments. We humbly apologize. Technical difficulties. No. I don't believe in conspiracies. I think all the years we're doing the show, we must have a little technical hitch now and again. But we are right here and we are ready to roll. We are talking about San Fernando being a ghost town and what has taken place in San Fernando. The PNM controls the central government. The PNM has the Prime Minister. The PNM has the Minister of Finance. The PNM has the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West. The PNM has the Member of Parliament for San Fernando East. The PNM has the Mayor of San Fernando. The PNM has the majority of the councillors in San Fernando. The PNM controls the Treasury. And San Fernando is a total, complete shantytown under the PNM.
San Fernando.
You need not say anymore. You cannot vote for
Fernando twice today.
You cannot vote
a little bit before 4 o'clock,
no resources.
And a little bit after 5 o'clock. And the place like a ghost town, dog. I was like, where the people, dog? Where the people waiting on taxi?
Apologize. I hope it's some good music, some good soca, some good calypso, some music that says UNC, NTA, get rid of PNM. August 14th, vote. Don't tote, vote. And vote. Local government election, serious critical election, a referendum. Show the PNM that you are sick of them, sick and tired of their heartlessness, their oppressive nature, their arrogance, their lack of creativity, their incompetence, their lack of planning ability, their corruption, their recusals, and they just suck. Vote out the PNM August 14th. Sounding better, Vishnu? We ready to go? If you're ready, Archie, show them San Fernando. And when you look at this, all San Fernandans, August 14th, you know what to do. Vote UNC. Vote NTA.
Dog, San Fernando going through. I passed through San Fernando twice today, dog. A little bit before 4 o'clock and a little bit after 5 o'clock. And the place like a ghost town, dog. I was like, where the people, dog? Where the people waiting on taxi to go home? Where the people shopping? Where the vendors at the side of the road? Dog, I only seeing piper and taxi men, dog. Half the business and them either shut down or the spot vacant and they're looking for renters. Hey, big up them boys apparel. Hey, Chris, big up Chris. Where's he seen, dog? Yeah. So, whoever in charge of making the decisions with regards to San Fernando, dog, all they run the place to the ground, dog. All they mash up San Fernando, boy, way. I would have never expect San Fernando to turn to a ghost town, dog. Look at it. It's 5 o'clock. Watch the place. It barely have anybody in the place. Wow. A city like San Fernando practically gone through, dog. Nah, boy. That's sad. Anybody who leaves San Fernando within the last few years and come back, they will be surprised.
For Mr. So the minister man is telling Jack Warner he deal with that minister man. We go deal with that just now. Jack Warner, you ain't skip a beat, boy. Class is class. Minister man saying in the Newsday, page 11, hoteliers, guest house owners must pay their water bills. Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez is calling on tourism stakeholders on the southwestern part of the island to pay the Water and Sewerage Authority. Let me tell you something, Marvin Gonzalez. Everybody is paying their bills, they're paying your taxes, you're paying them taxing, and they're not getting anything. As Jack wanna say, an idiot dressed in a suit with his inseam measured by his boyfriend is still an idiot. And Marvin Gonzalez, let us make it pellucid. You are an idiot. You have this country in the worst situation with regards to electricity and water in our history. You are providing less water than when they had the water riots back in the 1900s. And you are telling hoteliers that they have to pay their water bill. What about your Rahal and their water park down by Five Islands? How the bill got up to $543,000? You didn't tell them they have to pay. Paying is for some people and not for others. Gonzalez also, Marvin Gonzalez, concerned over water park. The construction of a $300 million water park in Tobago is causing concern to the Minister of Public Utilities, who did not know that leaks break down pressure. And if you have leaks, then people on the hillsides will find it difficult to get water. He was so shocked at that because he spends all his time that could have been spent studying books, you're studying man. That's what happens. If they give you a quiz on which man in which van driving where and how and what he was wearing, you get all A's. But stop studying man and study the people water, boy. The construction of a $300 million water park in Tobago is causing concern to Minister of Public Utilities Marvin Gonzalez. In June, the sod was turned for the Synergy Water Park and Activities Center at Friendship Estate, Tobago. The $300 million project is a collaboration between Water Synergy Limited, Seabro Construction and Maintenance Limited, and the THA. It is scheduled to begin within the next 2 months. Gonzalez commented on the issue at the commissioning of a pipeline project. We are in support of development, but development must come at a cost to the ordinary citizen. You and the PNM have cost the ordinary citizen for the last 8 years. If they are a middle-class family of 4, come to have you as Minister of Public Utilities and Rowley, the dunce who put an idiot as the Minister of Public Utilities, to have you all in office has cost a middle-class family of 4 between $55,000 and $89,000 annually, rather than having Kamala there. Let me make that clear now. You, the people, based on service policies, grant, fuel subsidy, serve the people, allocation of resources to you, to children, to sport, where you could access GATE and grants and education, tech, VOC, nursing school, THDTI, all these things that you, the citizens, could benefit from your money. You, the people, thus far, per year, have paid out of your pocket, your checkbook, your credit card, your cash, your money, between $55,000 and $89,000 to have Rowley as Prime Minister rather than Kamala. What Rowley have for you so? What's so sweet in Rowley mouth? What's sweet in goat mouth? The sour in the bam bam, you know. What's so sweet that you, those of you who vote for us, I'm not talking to you all who don't, those of you who dip your finger for Rowley, what Rowley have that will make you want to take out your wallet, take out your money, and per year pay $89,000 of your money so Rowley could drive around with special branch? Well, one short, because one of them had to be in one would broke the service. You understand? So he moving one short. And this one, this clown called Marvin Gonzalez, let me see, Jack deal with him. Jack deal with he and Small Pin. But I think it's the minister man first. Run it, Archie.
They have a minister of public utilities. Oh God, what the man they may know where them find he, nah? All I know is he does wear plenty makeup to take picture and thing.
The other one I want to talk about, but very briefly, is another one called Gonzalez. I have been listening to her for the longest while.
Look at this next makeup where anyone who does see man in a van through tint.
The Minister of Man was chosen by Rowley because he knew absolutely nothing about WASA.
Let me carefully read for you what this Minister of Man had to say about people not having water.
The other one I want to talk about, but very briefly, is another one called Gonzalez. I have been listening to her for the longest while.
Minister of Man, why were you in a function where you're supposed to be focusing and a man drive past in a van with tint at 60 kilometers per hour, and yet you could make out that man? How that man is so well known to you. How you so connected to that man that you could sense when he's going by even so fast. Minister of Man, when your wife reach home and you was playing bathroom sports, it's best you was in live sport. You understand, Minister Man? Be very careful, because don't make me deal with your makeup, you understand? Because we will just have to tell them what your wife saw you doing in the bathroom sport.
The other one I want to talk about, but very briefly, is another one called Gonzalez. I have been listening to her for the longest while.
And then Rowley said, government has to do what it has to do. That the water crisis would have lasted months if we had followed the law, because he wanted to change the procurement law and he wanted to go back to Parliament and the Senate to legalize his thieving and continue the decimation of the procurement law. Right? But let me tell you something, Rowley. The water has been in crisis for 6 years of your 8 years as the distribution network has erupted and gone and is damaged beyond repair below our roads, and over 4 billion gallons of water per month have been wasting for the last 5 years under our infrastructure, causing damage to the roads, sinkholes, bridges, collapse of the foundation of our infrastructure. Water is in a crisis, whether the main bus or not. Water is in a crisis if the main didn't bust, because only 16% of the population is getting 24/7, because you found a man who know nothing about WASA. You found an idiot who only have time to study where his next suit coming from. Ecliffe measure my next one then. All they measuring, is he measuring up good? Over. And then the PNM in election, corrupt, illegal, disgusting actions of the PNM in a local government election actually put up the flyers that the PNM for the candidates utilizing government taxpayers' grant. That is thing for police. That is thing earlier. That is thing to go and get device. That is thing to go and get warrant. An audio tape talking about when people finish their job, they could talk good about me. That's a crime. This is a crime. Candidate for cocal mafficking, Imran Ali of the PNM, is offering assistance to the public for the following services. First of all, you are a candidate. You have won nothing. No one has voted for you. You have no job. You have no authority. You have no local standby. You can offer nothing with regards to taxpayers' money, you idiot. This next one, Ryan Fry Stewart, like your brain fry. You're so dotish, right? Grants available from a candidate? How can a candidate get access to government funds? The first thing you have to do is win an election, then get put in, swear on the Bible, and after you swear and you have your meeting, then you have the authority to move forward, to disburse, to recommend, to implement government programs utilizing taxpayers' dollars. Taxpayers' dollars is not something just for free for all you dotish PNM people. But earlier your PNM petticoat showing, girl, and it long and it dragging in the sewer water flowing through the streets of Port of Spain by the financial complex earlier. Because earlier, this is a crime. They cannot do that. They cannot offer government services. They cannot get access to taxpayers' money and grants from taxpayer resources. They have no power so to do by law. And therefore, grants available from this fry, food card, house wiring, minor house repair, HDC housing, seed grant, general assistance, public assistance, and many more. But Ulana, don't investigate that. Them is PNM. Use the police for everybody who's not a PNM. And Ula, you have such a short stint and you will go down in history as the biggest disgrace the police service has ever seen. And it doesn't seem to bother you that you have learned nothing in you turn 60 and you still know nothing about the job that you are there to do. Over 500 accused of sexually assaulting children. Police Special Victims Unit, teachers, priests, and parents were among those accused of sexually assaulting children in their care over the past 2 years. Arun, who gave the report, said in 2023, 504 parents and family members were accused. There were reports against 15 teachers. They said the statistic for 2022 was similar. He said in 2022, 2 priests were arrested and charged for sexually assaulting children, while 1 priest was arrested and charged on Wednesday. In the past 2 weeks, 2 police officers have also been charged with sexual assault, he said. Arjun said in 2022, 76 people of variant forms of child abuse and 106 people have been arrested. Yeah, but we ain't going to say all the allegations are true. But how you have allegations in the thousands, 506 by 2, and you only have 76 people arrested? What about the Judith Jones report? How many people have been arrested from that report? We are coming up on 2 years that Judith Jones report that came about because of the work of Senator David Naked in fighting for the rights of the children who ran away, were abused and murdered. The Judith Jones report was handed to Keith Rowley and Ayanna Webster Roy in 2021, December 12th. And up to now, those homes are still running with the same people, the same managers, the same miscreants, the same evil ones who are putting pain and torture on children. And you all think election UNC and PNM is the same? If Kamala Persad-Bissessar was Prime Minister, it would not even need a Judith Jones report. Because after Senator Naked says something going on there, she would have sent in army, police, special victims unit, commissioner, police, change security, put in CCTV camera, change lighting, change out security guards, move managers, change up everything, taking reports, sending counselors and child psychologists to take reports and discuss from the children what is going on. It would have been instantaneous. Why? Because Kamala loved children. Kamala loved people. Rowley loves himself. Rowley loves money. Rowley loves golf. Rowley loves other people's wife. This scumbucket is the human being who will receive a report of children being raped, battered, burned with cigarettes, buggered, and just sit down and play golf. I want you to understand what I'm saying. This fool has the power to protect the children and did nothing for 18 months. Just think about that. All it was Father's Day. If any teacher touch your child, all you're going and sit down in Golden Grove, one time, instantly. This man has the power to protect the children. In the Judith Jones report, And he has done absolutely nothing. And some of y'all are telling me about vote for that nastiness. On top of that, did y'all see how many young people are applying to become prison officers? I'm not sure. I don't even know if I had that video. I'm not sure. But there were videos of it, right? Thousands and thousands of children, well, young people, young adults, applying for the few jobs that are opening up the recruitment of prison officers. Now, let that soak in. We've never seen this before in the history of our country. Largest numbers you may see a couple hundred or so, right? Because a prison officer is a sort of a specialized job. It's a very dangerous job. Every day you're going to work, your life is at risk. The salary under the PNM is not very high. The perks and the working conditions are very bad. The prison officers complain all the time. But yet, thousands of young people are applying to a job that is dangerous, that it pays low, as it's not appreciated as it should. It is hard, it is painstaking, uncomfortable, and your family also is at risk. Yet the thirst and hunger for jobs out there is so incredible. There are some people also that are built and designed for those type of service jobs. Prison officers, fire officers, army, those kind of things. There's a different kind of personality. So it's not for everybody. So how everybody running it down? Because there are no other options for people who are skilled or have the personality and the characteristics for other fields. There are no jobs out there because Rowley and Imbert have crashed and killed the economy with small pinning energy. That is very sad. But see, after Rowley public health crisis, you see Rowley called them here to spend your money, 3.4 million. But like he infect the other islands because 5 murdered in St. Vincent just a few months after they came here to Trinidad and Tobago to talk to Rowley and let Rowley tell them, hey man, I live in the murder capital. I in charge of the murder capital of the Caribbean. We're the 6th most dangerous country in the world. I do nothing. My commissioner of police can't even shoot a gun. She went out the other day to check a license and insurance, and she only running down Farley and THA and political opponents while drinking tea in a tea party. The whole country of Trinidad and Tobago is awash with blood. But I bring you all to my country to tell you all crime should be dealt with as a public health issue. And all you come here and what? 5 murdered in St. Vincent. Prime Minister Gonzalez says, stay calm. The government remains resolute on fighting crime. Why don't call Rowley for advice? And your brethren, Gonzalez, call him now. Skerrett, UK's new visa policy unfortunate. Now, Roosevelt Skerrett, and your bad talking woman and the eyelash and woman who spend money, you could put up the picture and put up Skerrett, man. Leave women alone now. You and Rowley stop harassing if women want to spend money on eyelash, on eyebrow, on weave, on augmentation, on whatever them want. That is woman business. They work hard for their money to spend their money. You is not to tell woman how to spend their money. Right? When you and Rowley spending your money on honey goat weed, anybody else tell all anything? But now, I now learning, Skerrett, the UK put pressure on Dominican citizens. They now have to apply for a visa. You never had to do that before, you know. And I research it now because you come and jump in my thing and Skerrett. You come to tell my country that Rowley's a nice fella in our election. You come to tell the world in my country that Brent Thomas was not abducted and the opposition was just trying to make mischief. You come to say that? You big dotish clown. Don't come in my country and talk that. Stay over there and you talk your thing. Because you now embarrassing your country. Because you're a sell passport. Imagine this one, make the 58% of the GDP in Dominica come from selling passport on the CBI program. So anybody in the world, wherever they come from, they pay money and he give them a Dominica passport with coat of arms and thing on it. And so many miscreants get in that through the poor vetting that the UK say, listen, who is this Dominica passport? No. Now all the citizens of Dominica have to suffer through the process of individual vetting and application for visa because of Rowley friend, honey go to eat sucker down. Move in. Rowley, and then Rowley criticizing when you know what had happened, but Rowley decided to just talk out about the girl and them and the fake. Run it, Archie.
Fake hair or fake face or bleach skin, all of you fake. Whether it's fake hair or fake face or bleach skin, all of you fake. Whether it's fake hair or fake face or bleach skin, all of you fake. Whether it's fake hair or fake face or bleach skin, all of you fake.
But you and Skerrit, birds of a feather flock together to Kobo. But Rowley, all that bleach skin, weekly, flake thing, you like that? Because nearly all of them end up down your stairs, past the 3 dogs, walk past the parrot, open the dungeon office door, and lie down on your fake couch to get fake chooks from you with your honey goat weed. So fake face, fake thing, you like that. Trevor says, talk about Rowley now, because he seemed very angry there. Explain to me what's going on with Rowley.
A man angry like our prime minister, that's when they have an erectile dysfunction, the penis dead or dying. Right? You see how the opposition leader Kamala, it look nice and she's still hot.
Scientific, it's medical, all right? What can I say? But then, Jack Warner, small pin boy, Stuart Small Pin Young. Boy, you will reach 93 and people in Trinidad and Tobago and globally will be calling you Small Pin boy. Small Pin, come in, Jack Warner boy.
Small Pin. We knew Small Pin was a dunce before y'all ever knew him.
To ask Rowley, Talbot, and Small Pin something. Please play Small Pin.
I'm about to talk about Stuart Young, Small Pin, Young Pin, Common Pin. I don't know. Whatever he calls himself, straight pin, common pin, small pin, young pin, I couldn't care less. Talking slowly now. I want to tell Stuart Young to take the first class ticket
And put that where the monkey put the nuts.
Heritage profit falls by 32%. Rowley put his own personal lawyer in charge of Heritage after shutting down Petrotrin. After Kamala Prasad Bisesa found out about a PNM audit by Petrotrin, which showed that oil coming out of the ground had just multiplied miraculously, and it was termed the fake oil case. At that time, Rowley's best friend and lineman, dancing Indian man, bareback, who just used racial epithets, normal, flowing out the mouth, left, right, and center. His daughter was a sitting PNM senator at the time. And Rowley shut down Petrotrin, even though no one said shut it down. The board of Petrotrin, Winfred Espine, said he never told Rowley to shut it down. With the Solomon report, the Lashley report, the McKinsey report, $65 million of advice, never said shut down Petrotrin. But Rowley shut it down because a man tell him, either you shut it down or lock it down, or we all go down. And Rowley shut it down. And then he divide it up and he make sure that anywhere where could have evidence and police need to go in to get paperwork, to get security guards, logbooks, check in to see, to investigate, to get statements and so on, to really get down to the nitty-gritty of an in-depth investigation. Gary Griffith had asked for money to pay a special engineer, chemical engineer and so on, to come and do an audit and check out the numbers and quantify how much oil could have actually been pumped per hour, and therefore per 12 hours or 24 hours or however much could have, what was the maximum and so on, to put charges. Rowley shut down everything, clear out everything, clear away even the security and replace it with a friend and financier of the PNM. And then Rowley put his own personal lawyer, A.A. Kwamena, in charge of heritage. And wow, arbitration, senior counsel say, appeal, this is ridiculous. Rowley and them appealing thing against a child, a sick child who gets Zika and has suffered differently able. Rowley and them appeal that. They're appealing anything. They're going to Privy Council to stop the local government election and thing. But they appeal that when Deborah Peake say appeal the fake oil case. Rowley, A.A. Kwamena say, nah, we have senior counsel advice, but we're going to get some junior counsel to tell me. And then they did not appeal it. And Rowley's friend, that is my friend, yes. But I must call him, because if I hear this, I call him and say, what is all of this about? And he said he doesn't know. And you all accept that. And Rowley remain in charge of Petrotrin, in charge of the Ministerial Energy, in charge of the investigation, in charge of the resources for the audit, in charge and get to put his own police commissioner there. And what was the end result? The bareback Indian whining and telling only, Stuarty, I love you like how hog love mud. Stuarty, you could have been my wife. No, well, Minister, man could have been a wife. That is what you like. But all of a sudden now, that whining one get $118 million plus a renewal of a 10-year contract, plus the PNM now going to, they say, some bid he win to get a next block of oil. That is PNM for all you. And while they're doing all of that, A.A. Kwamena, who's a dunce lawyer, and that is specialty, and he's a dunce lawyer. I beat he, me and my brother beat he and Stuart Young in the Brian Manning $9 million case. Bad, so bad that Nixon Dial, who didn't even point in our defense, he win back. He unlost because A.A. Kwamena and Stuart Young is two dunce. Well, they put a dunce in charge of your oil. Heritage profit falls by 32%. Revenue declines by 0.6 billion. According to the unaudited results, Heritage crude oil sales fell by more than $500 million, while its natural gas sales fell by 45.5 million. Its royalty income fell by 13.4 million, and its natural gas liquid sales fell by 5.2 million during the period. The combination of lower crude prices combined with our well-considered decision to store crude, says Kwamena, has resulted in lower revenue for the last 6-month period. So they say the price low for the last 6 months, so they go store it. And then they think the price is going to go up. And then they will sell it. This is the bright plan of A.A. Kwamena. One problem though, the prices keep going down. I don't know what to say. Oh Lord. He said the barrels will be sold during the second half of this year. Well, we'll monitor. We'll monitor that. Kwamena said the financial results included a $364 million interest cost relating to Petrotrin's legacy debt. Remember, Keith Christopher Rowley kept lying to you when he told you we're not shutting down Petrotrin, and they eventually shut it down, right? When he tell you about your fridge door. And then he said the reason they had to shut it down was because of the debt burden of Petrotrin. And that last year or so, he said, well, Heritage did so well because they dealt with the debt burden and it could not have been dealt with otherwise. And I was telling you, all it had to do, the debt burden is there from the PNM corruption of Malcolm Jones, the World GTL and the other, and the gas to liquids plant and so on. And all you have to do is restructure the debt and keep Petrotrin as a going concern, earning foreign exchange and employing 6,334 monthly workers and another 5 1,400 daily paid workers. You would keep 11,000 workers, plus Trinidad and Tobago would have a refinery producing valuable goods so that we could sell and not just be leeches on the global economy. But Rowley had to do what he had to do because a man tell him, if I go down, you go down, we all go down, and it shut down. So understand that. Major shake-up at NCBFG. I just watching that. For all you who don't know, NCB Financial Group, that was Small Pin brother Angus Young is. And before Small Pin swore on the Bible in September 2015 to be a minister, that NCB group, financial group, had zero public sector work. So you had First Citizens, Republic, RBC, Scotia Bank, JMNB. Them were doing those with track records for decades. We do getting public sector work and winning Ministry of Finance tenders and so on. As Small Pin swaying and went in the office of the Prime Minister under Rowley's bumsy. So where Small Pin brother went from 0 to $4.2 billion in work and subsequent 550 recusals for Small Pin within 4.5 years. Great is the PNM for Small Pin, for Richard Small Pin Young and Angus Small Pin Young. The Small Pins are doing very well for themselves. Small Pin is choking all your money very hard. Independents have concerns over the Procurement Act, really? Not enough of them, because at least 3 or 4 of them vote for it. $10,000 for a bracelet. Problems dog electronic monitoring unit. Oh, well, I wouldn't bother with Dial Singh. He wrote a set of nonsense here, but Senator Dial Singh, you seem to like to give examples of corruption, quoting things to do with UNC. But when you have the corruption that is gazetted, documented, and factual on the PNM, you leave it out. I think your draw is showing, brother. All right? I was going to go through it, but me had time. 10,000, the bracelet. Everything in this country to fight crime has just been done away with. Whether it's communication, helicopter, diesel for Coast Guard vessel, Army camp, Army, Joint Army Police Patrol, scanners, moving mobile scanners, anything, any unit, fast unit, vetting unit, everything has just been shut down. And the whole country is at the mercy of bandits and criminals. Express comes and they say educating migrant children is a plus. Wow, Express. Let's read this. Move these two. One sleepy and one drinking tea. Should it materialize this September, the enrollment of migrant children into a national primary school system would be an overdue positive step in the education and protection of vulnerable children on the move. Practical concerns, right. Very interesting, Express? So when Kamala called for this 2 years ago, when she called for it 1 year ago, when she called for it 6 months ago, you didn't find it was a good idea. But all of a sudden, the PNM just make a statement without consultation, without the applicable planning and strategic elements to make it a reality. And you immediately say it's a brilliant idea because what, PNM say it now? Kamala has been saying that for 3 years. You never thought to print, yes, Kamala, that is a great idea. The children of the migrants need to be educated. We must take care of the future generations. This is why the mass media needs to be used to wrap fish, and if you run out of toilet paper. Money cannot buy integrity, Mr. Rowley, says The Guardian. It was the British writer C.S. Lewis who famously said, integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Other notable definitions of integrity suggest a person who is incorruptible and honest with strong moral principles. This brings us to the very public complaint issued by Prime Minister Keith Rowley last weekend when he talked his nonsense. His remedy for this is not only to establish a specially vetted unit within the TTPS to investigate corrupt police, but also to pay officers more for having their integrity intact. Firstly, it needs to be said, for the benefit of Dr. Rowley, who should already know that there are criminal elements everywhere, not only in the TPS, but in customs, parliament, and the corporate sector, the judiciary, and even in the media. Therefore, the challenge of routing out the bad element is not for the TTPS alone. Secondly, the old adage remains that one bad apple will spoil the entire bunch. So if indeed our Prime Minister has evidence of these bad apples in the TTPS, we challenge him and his National Security Minister Petrotrin. Listen, Guardian, this editorial should have started off. Integrity, Rowley. What? What integrity Rowley email gate up? What integrity Rowley Delcy gate up? Police Service Commission gate, Nelson gate, Brush Darrell wife gate. What integrity Rowley have? Teacher gate, getting pum from a girl of school age since he is a little man. What integrity does Keith Rowley have? THA gate, Erla gate. Look. Now, look what money bought for Rowley, because Rowley is saying he's going to pay more money to get better service and so on. And the Guardian is rightfully telling him money doesn't buy integrity, it doesn't buy intelligence, it doesn't buy performance and so on all the time. Because look what money bought the PNM. You know, some air conditions, they got air conditions very good, but the project kind of stopped now, so the air conditions may not be needed yet. And when Kamala come and Jolene John and them turned that Balize house and Munilal into a hospice to help the homeless, to feed them and give them a bed and get medicine to them and so on. I don't think the hospice, yes, the inhabitants will get nice cold air condition. Because when you spend money for things, you don't always get good thing, you know. Look what the PNM get with Sukai. Come in, Archie, show me, Sukai.
Legitimize the introduction of new firearm.
And family, friends, well-wishers, good night. Let's give one more rounds. That energy it excites you. One more round to the PNM as we enter this election. PNM family, let's make one more round of a noise for this gathering here this afternoon. I want to hear my Shogunans people clap your hands. Actually, your central people, because we have Kuba Talparo Tabakil people here. You know, understand? And no more that we can rival any part of Trinidad and Tobago. And I will assure you, I have met every one of them. Lisa, Andal, Devika, and forgive me if I forget any names. I know I'm going down a wrong road. But I met every single one of them. And I endorse and support every one of them. And I will be walking with them. So PNM family, good night. And before I go, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and forever.
You know what, man? When that man went across by the PNM, a man tell me, Anil, we lost a good one. I said, but this is a good one. This one who went and support Vasant and then get through, who went and wanted to be Shoguna's mayor, and just because Kamala say, just because you have money and your business, you don't get to be that. She will take people from the ground who work hard, who serve, who learn, who could do a good job, and allow them to move up the ranks. Them say we lost something good. Boy, all you could keep that. Sukai, what do you boy? The what? The noise give me. Archie, what do me? Hey, Sukai, when you see a nice crowd and thing, without no people and thing, this is what you must do. You must just do this, Sukai. Politics is about being able to communicate, say what you're going to do, feel passionate, talk, move, debate in the Senate. Sukai, where you going? You run out of diesel, boy. Watch what you should have do.
Last week was Read Aloud Week for the children of the world and of Trinidad and Tobago. I enjoyed listening to my 8-year-old daughter read aloud. I did not know that today in the Senate was also read aloud day, because they would have been observed read aloud day by the new PNM Senator, Senator Sukai, as he read off his iPad with great difficulty.
According to the Minister of Local Government, the Honorable Mr. Faris Al-Rawi, stated that the population of municipal police should, Mr. President, clauses 4 and 11 of the amendment reference the legitimize and to legitimize the introduction of new firearm.
Oh Lord, I don't know what to say. Actually, they are the SWWTU officer, don't worry with that. All right. Now, I see an article, THA probe widens and the media printing this, you know. I want to ask the media to find out for me, because I would like to know. Guardian, you listening? Asha Javid, come out from underneath small pin. Come out. I'm here, it's easy to move out. Not much to move there, right? Just come and listen to me. Express, Tate, listen to me. Newsday, listen to me now. Ask this question for me of Ola or any one of the police now. About the audio tape. What is the crime they investigated? What is the criminal charge? What is the criminal conduct they investigating from the audio tape? Where it have Farley saying, well, we have people working, and when they finish working, they could do some propaganda and spread the news, good news of the party and the THA. Please tell me, what is the crime? Because I see THA probe widens. What is the probe? What is the criminal conduct that all these police hours are being utilized to investigate? I just want to know. I want to know that. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know no more, you know. I don't want to know Rowley and all this. I was going to go through all what he say. But Rowley, let me tell you, when you bluster and you don't know what you have to say, your boom serious clap, because Rowley, what Farley brought out there and what that witness brought out there, and how you know he was a witness against something that is not even a crime, but if he was a witness for the police to go and get warrants, then he's a witness, solid witness for Farley who brought and presented evidence of crimes being committed by high public officers. So you can't be a good witness on Monday and on Tuesday you're a liar. You can't have your cake and eat it, Rowley. So your bum is clapping. Could probably put a golf ball there and hold it with suction, and so you stay right there. But earlier, police, I just want to answer one question. On the audio tape, what is the criminal conduct that is being investigated? That's all I want to know. And Rowley, you was asking about Farley and where you go take him and the privilege, if privilege in the THA, Rowley try to read. Don't ask Sukai, because Sukai will take about a year to read this. So read it for yourself, Rowley. You see, Section 71, subject to the rules and standing orders of the Assembly, there shall be freedom of speech in the Chamber and the Assembly. 2, no civil or criminal proceedings may be instituted against any member or any person for words spoken before or written in a report of the Assembly of a committee thereof. You understand that, Rowley? So you can't do Farley nothing. In other respects, the powers, the privileges, and immunities of the Assembly, members and committees of the Assembly shall, not may, shall be such as may from time to time be prescribed by Parliament, and until so defined, shall be those that apply to the House of Representatives and its members committee. Shall. So whatever applies to Parliament downstairs where you went and lie on email gate applies to THA, you dotish, lying, pathological idiot Keith Rowley. So leave Farley. And to all the people at Tobago, all you deal with Rowley, all you already dealt with them, deal with them again, you know. Because today is Farley. Yesterday was Gary. And tomorrow will be you with that oppressive, tyrannical, disgusting, heartless, malicious, vindictive Keith Christopher Rowley. Rowley refutes claims of controlling police. Nothing clandestine with the daily security reports. Yeah. Rowley said it was not unusual for a prime minister to have communication with appropriate contacts in the police. He said every prime minister, from Dr. Eric Williams and even Prasad Bisesa, would have received these special branch reports. Yes, received special branch reports. But not every prime minister found out from somebody on the Police Service Commission that the merit list had been completed and took it upon himself to find his way to the office of the president on August 11, 2021, to go and whisper in her ear, FUL, I have no evidence, but FUL, no Gary, I don't want Gary. And then have Paula May Weeks and her Tea Party PNM petticoat call Bliss C. Prasad of Bishop's Tea Party and tell her to take back the merit list, which was a breach of the law, which was a breach of section 123(4) of the Constitution. And then the entire Police Service Commission collapsed. The merit list collapsed. And you handpicked, the PNM handpicked a commissioner of police and then replaced him with another one handpicked who is now beholden to the cabinet for her job. Not every prime minister did that, you miscreant Keith Christopher Rowley. Not every prime minister used his attorney general to concoct, to create, negotiate, and sign off an illegal indemnity, interfering in a criminal case, and getting senior counsel to say that what you were doing in usurping the authority of the DPP without notifying the DPP's office that was somehow legal and legitimate, and pay a criminal bribes and inducements over $10.2 million. Not every prime minister did that. Just you, Rowley. Just you. Analyst, Chief Secretary must support claims with hard evidence, said Bishnu Raghunath. Now, Bishnu Raghunath, and I like when you put him in the red jersey, because that is his color. Bishnu Raghunath, I went and I researched, I looked for about 3 days, and I never found one similar statement by you about Emailgate. When Keith Rowley went into the parliament and desecrated it with concocted nonsense, fabricated things, 29 of the 31 could not even be emails because they did not have enough characters to enter the cloud. I never heard you say Keith Rowley must show evidence to support his allegations that a prime minister and senior ministers and a security advisor were planning to kill, to murder a journalist and to tap the DPP's office. I never heard you make a statement like that. Now you jump out quick, jump out like you in world championships, landing in sawdust to ball that Farley need to support what? Farley need to support nothing. The evidence there, the witness say what he had to say, and the witness must be protected. What you talking about, Farley? Your people are sickening, and that's why the country is in a mess. Because you all either afraid or beholden or Rowley work Obion all you want something for him, or you was on the red couch. What is wrong with you human beings? And just to remind all you, while the country cowers under the spate and scourge of crime, listen to the sleepy, body bag, Etelbert, Sativa, narcissist, disgusting, dotish, Pomsite Rasta Hines when he was in opposition. Just listen to this fool and remember that he is right now the Minister of National Security in the most insecure time, the most fear that every citizen has across this board, where criminals are controlling this country, criminals govern this country. Listen to this fool, Hines.
Our country is in deep crisis. Our economy, for example, has not grown in the last 5 years. The problems of crime persist. It was C.L.R. James, a great son of Trinidad and Tobago, who told this world accurately that the best sign of a society in decay is when those who are elected to govern or lead that society appears wholly unable to find solutions to the problems that arise.
I totally agree. Now, he was lying because the economy had grown in 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. There were reserves of 12.225 billion US. The Heritage and Stabilization Fund was at 7.6 billion US. There were 14 months of import cover. Over 55,000 jobs had been created during that time. So all of his fluff was lies. But all of those things that he spoke about exist now under the PNM. The economy is shattered. Energy sector is shattered. 123,000 people come off the roads. The infrastructure has gone through. There's no water, no electricity. People are paying tax without getting service. Crime and criminality is running rampant. And the PNM has no solutions. And he said, when they have no solutions, vote them out. So listen to Pomsite Rasta Bodybag Sativa Sleeping Narcolepsy Hines. Vote out the PNM. And let me tell you something. I had to look at this video here about 8 times because I could not believe that a human being, especially a woman, because you all know women have a different sort of nurturing, empathy, love. They're more sympathetic than men in most cases. That women, with their intelligent selves, they think before they speak. It's very rare for a woman to just spew abject, total nonsense. Women are more pedantic. They're more careful. But when I heard this thing, I could not believe. I had to double check to make sure it was not fake, that it was no dubbing thing, all it was no AI. I had to do all kind of thing because I could not believe that a human being would be so callous, so heartless, miss the mark by such a long way, be totally disjointed with the population, and have no care or empathy for citizens who are living in fear, that a woman would think about this. Write it, vet it, practice it, bring it, and deliver it is beyond the realm of my conscious thought. Run, Sagram Singh Sukla, run this, something gone wrong with this lady, run it.
Stand your ground what? Ms. Prasad Bisesa, you stand your ground. And understand that the PNM controls the majority in the parliament. And as long as we are here, we will not support. Stand your ground.
That just goes to show Trinidad and Tobago that this PNM government does not care about the safety and the security of our law-abiding citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. You can't tell me, you saying it boldly on a platform, that the PNM has the majority and they would not support the Stand Your Ground legislation, which will be implemented to secure the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and you want to vote for that? You want to vote for the PNM? Better think again. Stand Your Ground legislation would help people to use deadly force against intruders who come unlawfully into your premises. So tell me, I'm sure the whole of Trinidad saw the video where Uncle was dragged to the ground and those nuisance went in his premises and start taking up things that does not belong to them. I am certainly sure if the Stand Your Ground legislation was implemented, Uncle could have saved himself. But no, you can stand boldly on a platform to say the PNM have the majority and the PNM would not support the Stand Your Ground legislation and we can all do this together. Lies upon lies upon lies. On August the 14th, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago would respond to the nonsense that is being stated, to the nonsense that they have been giving the citizens for 8 years.
I don't think I could have said it better than that young lady. But Sagram Singh Sukral, a woman, marauding, evil, wicked bandits with guns are rushing into people's homes across Trinidad and Tobago from Point Fortin, Labre, across to Mayaro, Manzanilla, through the center, through Penal, Princess Tongue, Barrackpore, Couva, Chaguanas, coming up, Dabadi, Arima, Curep, St. Joseph, San Juan, Lavanti, Dago Martin, up at the Toko, Sangre Grande, all across Trinidad and Tobago because of the proliferation of illegal guns that has been allowed to accumulate through the lack of border protection, the lack of a security dome in Trinidad and Tobago, that the PNM has left our ports open, our borders open, no diesel for the Coast Guard vessels are not operating, no maintenance, the radar is functioning off and on, no air guard, no helicopters, no roadblocks, no army patrols, no joint patrols, nothing of this sort. Illegal weapons coming in. Every Tom, Dick, Harry and bandit have a Uzi, have a gun in a video gallery in themselves. Men driving around with gun in AD wagon and Wing Road and jumping out, killing man and jumping back in and getting away. Man shooting man in the head while they holding the 8-year-old child hand. And this Sagram Singh Sukral, when Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Gary Griffith, Jack Warner, UNC, NTA say, listen, not only the police and the army and the strategies and the communication and the Coast Guard and security dome, but we going to also allow you, the law-abiding citizens, when man run in your place that you pay for, that you pay mortgage, that you take your money and you build and you buy your driveway, your gate, in your house, in your couch, when they come for your things, that you could fire back on them. Because nobody must be bullied by bandits. Hear what Sagram Singh Sukral, me and know if they tie she brain instead of she belly, but something going on. Run it again there, Archie. Show me Sagram Singh Sukral.
Stand your ground what? Ms. Prasad Bisesa, you stand your ground and understand that the PNM controls the majority in the parliament. And as long as we are here, we will not support. Stand your ground.
That just goes to show Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, you know what's the solution to the people of Trinidad and Tobago? The PNM must have the majority nowhere. Not in the THA, not in local government corporations, and definitely not in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Because the PNM, according to Sagram Singh Sukral, will use their majority to make sure that your family is at risk, to make sure that you cannot protect yourself, to make sure that bandits could come and take what you have worked hard for. That's the way the PNM operates. Kamla Prasad Bisesa says, no, you must fight fire with fire. Not only police, army, units and so on, and the judiciary and everything that has to be cleaned up to clear up and deal with criminals. Also giving opportunities to those young people, education, GATE, TechVoc, THTTI, reopening MIC, NESC centers, all of that holistic approach. But also that you, as a man or a woman, must be able to defend your castle from marauding criminal bandits with the intent to kill you and to harm your children. That woman, Sagram Singh Sukral, something is wrong with her. some screw has come loose. I don't know if it came loose, at what time, how it came loose, but it is definitely loose. So you, the people, must remove any parliamentary majority that she and the PNM have, because they are sick. And she's saying that with a kind of arrogance. She is saying, you the people must be at the mercy of bandits, and the PNM will not help you. You will not be allowed to fight back. When they come with guns, you must come with cutlass. You must fight with your hands. When they fighting with weapons, that woman has to be mad. She need help. No joke. Play it one more time. Listen to me. I listened to that thing about 8, 9. Now I listen for the 3rd time. I still can't believe this woman say that. Play it again, Archie.
Stand your ground what? Ms. Prasad Bisesa, you stand your ground. And understand that the PNM controls the majority in the parliament. And as long as we are here, we will not support. Stand your ground.
Not be there. Get rid of them. Get rid of them in every council, in every local government corporation, and when general election come, wipe them out. They must not be there. End of story. And if you want to know, a man say, because that was Dotish, but Dotish come from Dotish, selected by Dotish. A man say, tell me a Dotish without telling me a Dotish, and check what he show you. Run it.
Me a Dotish without actually saying I am Dotish.
And we built Trinidad and Tobago. You can drive from Matlot to Diego Martin, from Mayaro to San Fernando. Every road that was built, every highway was built by the PNM.
Well, let me tell you something. On August 14, from what I saw in Macoya, from what I saw in SWTU Hall, from what I'm feeling and seeing as we meet and greet with citizens across Trinidad and Tobago, that the citizens have finally awoken to realize that the PNM is deleterious to the benefits of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, that Keith Rowley is the worst prime minister ever and has selected the worst, most evil cabinet ever assembled in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, that corruption is rife and lack of performance, lack of creativity, lack of care supersedes everything in the PNM cabinet. On August 14, the people are resoundingly going to reject the PNM. And Archie, this how I go be dancing. Show them Anil dancing by on August 14th at about 9:45 p.m. Run it.
It's time for we to build a better TNT. It's time for we to vote for the UNC. So let me tell them, August 14, vote for UNC. That's the way to secure your family. August 14, vote for UNC. That's the way to secure your country. Come let me vote. Stand your ground now for you and your family. So let me vote. This is the time to secure TNT. Come out and vote. Make sure the children safe in the community. So we have to vote. This is the time to secure TNT. Hey. You see the crime and violence, we can't take it no more. No more, no more. And the home invasion of the people insecure. Insecurity, you know. To secure TNT, UNC is the way to go. So on election day, what to do? Just vote for you. For your family security, vote for you. For your community security, vote for you. Just to save your economy, vote for you. Vote to secure TNT. August 14, vote for UNC. That's the way to secure your family. August 14, vote for UNC. That's the way to secure your country. Come let we vote. Stand your ground now for you and your family. So let we vote. This is the time to secure TNT. Come out and vote. Make sure the children safe in the community. So we have to vote. This is the time to secure TNT.
Oh Lord. August 14, all are we going to be dancing like that? Because we will see the backs of the evil, tyrannical, oppressive PNM under Keith Rowley. And we will beat them so bad that they will be forced from the financiers up in Godo Park to call a general election. And Trinidad and Tobago will be able to breathe as the best minds, based on merit, will come forward to serve the country in every disparate sphere and lead Trinidad and Tobago back out of the abyss of ineptitude. Trinidad and Tobago will breathe again. And as we go, I want all you to listen to this remix by the madman. He bring back a classic from
look at
Black
people
Stallion.
still
He
suffering
go
in
make
beat up.
it with PTI. Listen to these lyrics. Madman come in. Good night.
So me vote and still back to square one. Look at people still suffering in beat up, man. John. We lose faith in the leader, and I'm not calling no names. We fed up of the lies and the dirty games. So it's right now we have a vote, no confidence. Cause right now in the country they're doing real nonsense. Now the majority of youth decide to go and pick up gun, like you're playing blind and you're deaf and dumb. Like you forget your people once you in power, and you're moving evil. You had the whole place sour. And now that we discover it's 2% that they offer. This is one little thing that I want all you to remember. We fed up all your life. You could do much better. Kaiso, food prices going up too high. I's a madman. We can buy rice or flour. Don't the chicken gone up, peas gone up, sausage gone up, cheese gone up. It's everything gone up. I's a madman. Kaiso. To talk about the crime situation now is a problem. Too much of rape, murders and robbery, how they can't solve them. I see you talk and you talk out we brain with a set of lies while the country going down the drain. Them don't care about nobody. Wants to fix the finance, big shot friends and family. So the whole of the country wants you now to stop lying. Cause the next election is a new party we voting. Like you forget your people once you in power, and you're moving evil. You had the whole place sour. And now that we discover it's 2% that they offer. This is one little thing that I want all you to remember. We fed up all your life. You could do much better. Gas prices going up too high. The cost of living is getting high.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lisha Dore, President of the Campus Foundation, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to another episode of Critical Conversations with the Campus Foundation. Local government elections is fast approaching, and there's been a lot of campaigning both on the ground and on social media. We have only 19 days left to what is being called the mother of all government elections. I see one of my panelists is there smiling already. So we know we're in a very, very critical period right now. It's very fast paced. There's a lot of stress, particularly for the candidates and the campaign team. I mean, with my limited exposure to it, I know how stressful and fast paced it is right now. But in keeping with our promise to showcase some of our brilliant and talented candidates for the local government election, we have joining us today Mr. Ryan Rampersad, a very familiar face to this program, who is your local government election candidate for Londonville Talparu. And I only now found out today that Ryan has been a councillor for 10 years. Is it 10 years, Ryan? And I only now found out that today. I know it was for a while, but I didn't realize it was for a whole decade. So that in itself is an accomplishment. And we also have with us Mr. Shane Samlal, who is your UNC local government election candidate for Kokia Taruba, and who was also a former alderman. So we want to thank Shane for joining us on our platform for the first time. Yeah. Now, why I'm excited about this program is both gentlemen, because of their long background in local government, they bring a wealth of experience to the table. So I think we're going to have a very interesting and informative conversation tonight. But first and foremost, let me congratulate the both of you all on behalf of the Compass Foundation and everyone who is watching as being successful as candidates, as being selected as the candidates for your respective districts. So congratulations to you both, and I know you're both very worthy candidates. I would like to say a special welcome to our viewers who have joined us on Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, those who will be watching the program a little later. Members of the media, we want to thank you for your continued support. Members of the Compass Foundation, some of whom you would never see online or live, but they are working behind the scenes to help us to keep this program running weekly. And unfortunately, I only have one co-moderator tonight again, the lovely Ms. Shanta Sipasad, who is the treasurer of the Compass Foundation, because our very dynamic and popular PRO, Mr. Chris Hussein, is still down with the flu. So we're hoping to have Chris back with us next week. You know, I know a lot of people are messaging, where is Chris? Where is Chris? Well, he will be back with us hopefully next week. Now, for those who are not familiar with the program, we have a panel discussion, followed by which we have a Q&A and an open mic session for the audience. We will try and wrap up by 9, right? Normally we go between 9 and 9:30. Guys, I know you are very busy with the campaign, and I know you're probably very tired right now. So we will try and maybe wrap up around 9, maybe go a little extra depending on how the questions and the Q&A goes. But I don't want to keep you longer than it's absolutely necessary. So having said all of that, I would like to now pass you over to Shanta, who will kick off our panel discussion.
Thank you, Lisha, and good night to everyone. It's such a honor to be part of this esteemed panel. I know Councillor Ryan, candidate Ryan, now, you are one of our ardent supporters from the Compass Foundation. I know you support us all the time, and we thank you guys for that. But going to you, you have been a councillor for the past 10 years. First time I am hearing that as well. I didn't know it was so long. How have you been able to manage one of the larger districts? I see you stem from Londonville, Mondo Nuevo, Talparo. So tell us a little about that.
All right, so let me start by saying good night to each and everyone, and to thank you all for having me on your program tonight. I want to say best wishes to Chris also. Hope that he can recover quickly and get back to your program. Good night to my colleague, Mr. Samlal, who is contesting one of the electoral districts in San Fernando. Good night to all your viewers and listeners and so on. I have served within the Cuba-Tabaqui-Talpa Regional Corporation, which is actually the second largest regional corporation in the country. Second largest by population. Tunapuna Piaco edges us in terms of population. We serve 170,000 people, a little more than that. And it is also the second largest geographically. Now, my electoral district is also one of the largest in the countries. It is predominantly a rural community. It starts in the west from Londonville and goes all the way to Tamana in the east. And as you said, Mondo Nuevo, which is Spanish for New World. Lots of people wouldn't know where that is located. Todd's Road, Las Lomas, and so on. It has been challenging as the years went by because of the change in central government. You asked how I've been able to manage. I've been able to manage because of a number of reasons. Firstly, my parents. My dad died last October, but he was, a real solid support for me over the years. My mom, my wife, and kids, they give me that room to function, because if you don't have that room from the family unit, you really can't function. So I thank them for that, my in-laws and so on. I thank my political leader for guidance and the inspiration. When I look at her and she keeps going and going and going, it tells me I have to keep going also. I thank my coordinator, Senator Julian John, our coordinator in La Hoca, Talparo. She called me and she buffed me up a couple of days ago, and she said, other than my wife and my mother, she loves me the most, and she wants to make sure and keep me in check because, we had some walks to do and so on. But equally important to all of that, I am fortunate and blessed, Shanta, to be part of one of the most dynamic campaign teams and electoral teams and political teams, I should say, in the country. That is the team named the LHT team. And those who don't know what LHT, the acronym LHT stands for, it is La Hawketta Talparo. And if you are not sure about the power of LHT, you ought to have been looking last night or been present in that meeting at Center of Excellence, and you would understand the power of LHT. And I am fortunate to be part of such a very disciplined team. And how do I manage? So having all that support allows me that opportunity, and that it gives me an edge to be able to perform and serve my people. Shanta, I've been able to get a lot of people on board, continue building teams through NGOs, schools, sports clubs. And this is outside of the political circle. I truly believe in and I engage in capacity building. I am not very consumed with things like street lights repairs and reporting water leaks and so on, because in every community I would look to identify about 5, 6, 7 serious-minded people who are, who can use email and various forms of technology, making a simple call. And I would get them on board with the various agencies that impact our everyday lives, electricity and so on. And because we have a wide network of people willing to work along with us, it has helped me to manage a huge area. Also, a lot of lobbying. There's a lot of lobbying now. Shanta, as you know, between 2010 and 2015, we had a working government. When I came into local government in 2013, we had an accelerated development program. I could have, made promises to communities to pave their roads, to build box trains and so on. We had resources, we had agencies willing to work, and you had motivated public servants, because these public servants impact the quality of your delivery and the amount you can do in your areas. I'll tell you something, post 2015, we have moved away from a development program to one of repair and maintenance because of the what we would call chicken feed funding that we get. You can't really pave roads anymore, a complete length of road. You can't really build the length of box trains that you would want to. So we are more just playing catch up and looking for the potholes and see where we can patch and so on. So, with the limited funding we manage with public-private partnerships, getting corporate sector on board, communities and so on. That's it in a nutshell.
For the past few weeks, we have been having this local government series, and all the councillors that we have had here, or candidates, they would have expressed the same sentiments as you. They have intentions of doing great stuff for the community, but their hands are tied with how they can perform. But moving on to Shane Samlal, you have served as an alderman. I see you smiling already. You have served as an alderman within the last local government term. How has that transition been from being alderman to now becoming a candidate? What made you decide to put your hat in the ring?
Well, when I served as alderman from 2016 to 2019, I was the only UNC person in a P&M corporation. So that alone says a lot, And at that level, as an alderman, there's limited stuff that you can do, because in terms of you're alderman, not just for Koki Taruba, you're alderman for the entire corporation in a sense. But in terms of a councillor, you can get so much, get so much things done than an alderman. So that is one of the reasons that councillor can do much more for the people of Koki Taruba, and that is one of the reasons why.
So you would say it's easy. Go ahead.
It's an easy transition.
Yes.
So now be candidate, and well, in a few weeks you will be the councillor. There's
Will
no
be,
doubt about
will
that.
be. Exactly. Correct.
So Shane, I really want to ask, the San Fernando City Corporation it's a madly contested corporation right now, right? How is the atmosphere on the ground there? How are you all feeling? What sort of response you all getting?
Well, the response is good. It's positive. It's positive right through, you know. And people are fed up. People are fed up and they are coming out. They are expressing themselves and they are supporting. They are supporting and they you know, they give you the assurance that they are supporting and they are voting for the UNC.
So you feel confident then that you're bringing home a victory?
Yes, of course, confident.
Okay,
Confident. I am
lovely.
confident.
I see you all decked off in the UNC shirt and thing there, right? So some serious campaigning happening down in that area.
Yes.
When I looked at the results of the last local government elections, I saw that the UNC would have lost by about 30 votes. However, you all also had the COP and the MSJ throwing their hat at that time. So, you know, it could have been a split or so. What has the response been in terms of, you would see, how does the margin look?
When you say the margin,
what do you estimate you all winning? How has the response been so far?
I work closely with the last candidate, and the response from then to now is completely different. You know what I mean? In terms of the people itself voicing their opinion, coming out, meeting us, greeting us. From before was like, you know, it was not that important. But now you are seeing a change from the youths, from the elderly, from everybody. They want to meet you. They want to have a conversation, you know, and that is a good sign. That is something good.
So, Shane, what you think would have accounted for this change on the ground?
People are fed up. They are just fed up with the present government right now, and you know they want a change in a sense, you know, and there's only one way to change it.
Absolutely, at the polls. Now,
Yes.
Ryan, I know you. One thing I want to commend you all for. You see what you said about La Hoqueta Talparu and that teamwork and that camaraderie that you all have. That is so important, and it's something that I admire. I look on at you all and I look at how you all function as a team. And for those who don't know, Ryan is also the constituency chairman, and he is certainly doing a great job there, along with our deputy political leader, the Honorable Senator Julian John. It is certainly a team that I admire. And I was sharing a story with Ryan. I am fairly new to the party, but what actually made me join the party, decide to, become a member of the party, was when I saw what was happening in La Hoqueta Talparu on social media. And I saw Project Hope, which was a fantastic agricultural project that was taking place, where, Brian, perhaps you could share with us, because you'll be able to speak to us a little bit more, and, you know, give us a little more information that I will be able to give about that project.
Yes, Lisha, that project is very, very close to my heart and to the people of La Hoqueta Talparu and more so Miss John. Back in 2020 when we were campaigning, you know, many people across the country wanted change, and a couple of our activists in La Hoqueta, they would have reached out to Miss John and indicated that there are a number of youths who they mean well. One of them, you know, he admitted that he was out of jail and he did not want to go back, and they wanted to do better for themselves and do honest work and so on. And, you know, Ms. John would have met with them and asked them, what do you all want to do? And they indicated that they had access to a parcel of land and they wanted to get into agriculture. So Ms. John, being our candidate back then, would have rallied all the necessary functioning arms that would comprise the entire agriculture enterprise for these guys, pull the resources together and got them off the ground. And I'll tell you what I mean. They had a parcel of land that was in a lot of bushes. She got equipment to grab out the land, excavate and clear out the land. They needed resources such as manure and chemicals and so on for their plants, because they were going into production for the very first time, lettuce and cabbage and some very short crops. And And she would have, gone to agriculture shops and got donors and so on to get on board and donate these items. She got agronomists to come on board, very skilled people, very knowledgeable people who could have trained these guys and guided them through their first crop and even the second crop, and they remain with them. And not only were they taught how to grow crops and care for the crops and so on, and you all, they got many times we just little kickstart or having this to get from the agriculture. Agriculture is a very expensive enterprise to get into, the price of chemicals and so on. With that head start, she also tied up another end of it that many farmers do not engage in, which is marketing. She would have organized an agripreneurship course where they were taught and they were trained how to market their produce, because they could earn more money rather than selling their produce to a middleman at a low price. As a producer, you are producing and you can sell at the marketing end also. So we taught them all that, and they broke into markets and so on. And when the ground, Lisha and Shanta, when that got off the ground, and Ms. John would have also come up with the name Project Hope and so on, right? All of La Hoqueta came together, and not just La Hoqueta, groups of youths in Talparo and Todd's Road and Mondonuevo, they were calling on us and asking us, can you come in and do a Project Hope? Project Hope, as you know, went down the East-West corridor into Tunapuna and other areas. And it may not have been the very same practice, but the idea of hope is what captured them, and Ms. John was offering genuine hope with real results. They were seeing it. And, it really warmed my heart to see these youths coming by, not by the tens or dozens, but by the hundreds. They were coming. We had phases, La Hoqueta has phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and so on. We had phases who we were told were in war with each other. That's probably a strong word, but you know what I mean, right? There's contention and amongst the residents of one phase against the other and so on. And this project brought them together. We actually had another phase of Project Hope, where some other guys got involved, and Ms. John built a nursery for them. And they started producing the nursery seedlings to sell to the first set of guys who were actually doing the planting. And I found that was a real synergy of their efforts in La Hoqueta. And as you know, I don't want to keep the program positive, so I'm not sure of the words to use to describe the Prime Minister, but he came on national media sometime during that campaign and said that Julian John is engaging in pak choy and lettuce politics. And I'll tell you something. Agriculture is an avenue that can provide a lot of relief for a lot of families. It is not only a form of earning income, but it is also something that is very therapeutic. I'm a farmer myself, and these guys told us that they felt accomplished intrinsically. They felt rewarded at the end of the day when they engage in the agriculture practices and so on. And we had a good team, agronomists, the guys who were training in the agripreneurship and so on. It was really a beautiful project. And unfortunately, we had forces working against them, and it shut down. Some of it shut down prior to the general election, and some of it shut down subsequent after the general election of 2020.
Well, I must say, I thought that was such a fantastic project. I saw it on social media and I was wowed by it. Honestly, it really struck me. It motivated me to actually step forward and get more involved there. Yeah. And I sincerely hope that you all are able to implement initiatives like this again. So I want to go into another line of questioning now. Shane, let us say you are when you are successful on August the 14th and you become the councillor of your district, what are some of the things that you hope to implement?
One is for a safer community, because the crime situation right now, up to today, there was a home invasion right in my community here, where they came and they went in with 2 vehicles and they went in a premises and the police held them, or whatever the case may be. So the crime situation, that will be one, securing the community by means of more lobbying for more patrols, more community programs, stuff like that. Another, we have some flooding in the community here also, proper drainage and infrastructure, that is second. And thirdly, most important, unemployment within your community in terms of through the local government corporation, jobs for people in the community and stuff like that. So that is the three main ones that I will be.
Okay, and I think you've touched on some very critical problems that are affecting the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. Almost every community that you look at is three really critical issues that are coming across the island. Ryan, I want to direct that very same question to you. When you return as councillor, what are some of the things you hope to do for your district?
Well, I would, my answers would be similar to Shane's answers. The number one issue in the country really is that of security. We know we have gone from bad to worse under this government, and securing our communities is very important. And we can do that working along with our municipal police, having the comfort patrols and so on, having groups that are very much vigilant. As you know, you have these groups, I forget the name that they used to describe themselves, but the community groups, who look out and so on, right? Not vigilante groups, but you know what I mean. And watch groups, right? And, just prior to the dissolution of local government, which was on May the 18th, both myself and former councillor John Lezama would have engaged in a community meeting in my community of Tudge Road, where I live. So the Central Division Police came in, Senior Superintendent Pierre and his entire team, and we had a very wonderful meeting, and the community opened up, and spoke from their heart about their bad experiences and good experiences that they would have had with the police. Senior Superintendent Pierre and his senior members, they listened and they gave commitments, to do better. And one of the offers that they made was that some of the senior officers would join the community on afternoon walks. Through the community walk, we're not driving. And, they're going to meet the people, the younger ones, the elderly, and have a conversation with them and develop that relationship between the community and police. Because where we are at, it's what I heard from most of the people was, a lot of distrust. People are afraid to make reports to the police station if there's a drug dealer in the community and so on. And if it is not that, they have no confidence in the police because of the attitude that you get, So that is one of the issues in terms of security. This is my fourth term. I'm going back up for a fourth time, and I feel even more prepared now because of the network of people and organizations I've met along the way, and I've been able to help create and so on. There are communities where, you have really good individuals, but they're not organized. And if they organize, the power of a few is more than, if you add them up one by one. And working along with these people, we can get a lot done. I feel so much more prepared now. And I feel it is even more important having a wealth of knowledge. And in no way do I want to sound cocky, but having been there for 10 years, I've made a lot of contacts. And through the various agencies, through NGOs, and so on. And more so under this uncaring PNM government, I feel the need to be there for my people. Because when you have a UNC government, it's easy to function. I could step out and anyone can become the councillor and work under a UNC government and deliver because you are driven by the political leader. We have a leader who, right after swearing in, she would have donned her boots and gone into flooding in St. Helena back in 2010, right? Whereas this one, you would see him on the golf course, right? So I feel the need to be there for our people even more now. And we have a lot of infrastructure issues. Shanta would have mentioned a bit earlier that you hear the cries from everyone across the board. There is a lack of funding. Through the Kuva Tabaki Talpa Regional Corporation, and I think I see my councillor colleague Balmaiti Gosain has joined us. I'm not sure if any others are looking on, but we have been able to partner with, various communities and engage in public-private partnerships. Lisha, we don't have funding to fix everyone's roads, but we fix roads all the time. How do we do that? We reach out to them and we let them know what we have. What do we have in regional corporation? We don't have funding most of the time, but we have trucks, we have backhoes, we have rollers, we have engineering personnel, we have skilled labor, masons, carpenters, and so on. And what is missing? What is the one part of the puzzle that is missing to get work done? If you want to build a box train or build or fix a road, money for material. So I'll give you an example. There's a quarry within our region in Tabakit that sells stone that you would need to fill potholes. And then if you want to do a proper job, you seal it off with oil sand. Lisha, where I live in Talparo, if you have to get a truckload of oil sand in my community, you will have to pay upwards of $3,000 per truckload of oil sand. I mean, is a specific quantity, a couple of cubic meters we are speaking about. Do you know with our transport in the regional corporation, if I offer you our trucks and you don't have to pay for transport, that same load of oil sand, you'll just pay about $490, right? Many communities decide, listen, this is something we could pick up on, because whilst we know the fight is on to get the PNM out of government, the sufferation is presently existing. People going to continue to suffer from bad holes, bad roads and potholes and so on, from now until the removal of the PNM. And many of them, you can't wait so long. So whilst we continue that battle to get the PNM out, we need to get some repairs done. And in the absence of funding, how do we do it? So you have farmers who would come together and assist in their farmers' roads. You have some companies. In my area, I hardly have businesses because it's more a rural community. There are some businesses in my area, if you go by them, they may quicker ask you for a hamper than give you something. And I don't mean it in a demeaning way. It really is that a lot of suffering is taking place. It's a lot more parlors and so on and big businesses. But nonetheless, with the few people around, we have churches and temples and so on. People come together and they say, listen, we will buy 10 loads of oil sand. We will pay for 10 loads of stone. And through the regional corporation, we coordinate it. We get material in where we did not have funding for it before, and we get some work done. So this is how we have been doing some things. And this is one of the things that I will focus on. And employment is definitely another one. Shane would have mentioned it. Unemployment is very high, and it impacts quite a lot of families. It really filters down. It leads some young individuals into a life of crime. I mean, we know when you don't have money coming in the household, the litany of woes that comes with it. Those are three. I mean, there are many things I can focus on when I come back in the office, but those are three of the main ones.
Gentlemen, the PNM's campaign has been on this local government reform together with the property tax. In your opinion, what are your views on this reform and bringing back this property tax?
Shane, if you don't allow me, let me start, Shane, if you don't allow me.
Right, you go ahead.
The first thing I would call on the PNM to reform is the boundaries that we have that provides the regional corporations, the 14 regional corporation that separates us all, right? I'll tell you something. It is wickedness to have one regional corporation, one corporation serving 178,000 people. That is the Couva Tabaki Talpa Regional Corporation. And when you look at the Point Fortin Borough Corporation and Arima Borough Corporation, some of them serving as little as 20,000 or 30,000 people. Couva Tabaki Talpa should be at least 3 corporations, but they will not make that split. That was recommended some decades ago. That was recommended that it be split, but it's a numbers game, right? So if they want to talk about reform, they should really start with that. Now, Shanta, you mentioned the property tax, right? Now, we are predominantly agriculture and rural. We will be collecting just residential taxes, not the industrial taxes. Now, as you know, the Point Lisas Industrial Estate is located within the municipality of Couva Tabaki Talparo. We will not be collecting. That is where the big money is going to come in. That goes to central government. So when you look at us, where in my area, you have a house located here, you may have to walk half a mile to get to the other house, right? When you multiply that by the taxes that they have to pay, it doesn't amount to much. Now, I would have listened to MP Saddam Hussein in a debate recently, and he indicated it's just really an exchange, that this is not an addition to the amount of money that we are going to get. This is just another source of funding that we are going to get. And based on the amount that we are usually given, that if there's a shortfall, then central government is going to come and give us the rest. So what is the difference really? Are we getting more funding to do more? I am not convinced of that. Shane?
Concerning the reform, we have been hearing the reform since the PNM, maybe since they're born or since they came into government for the past, 8 years now? And seems as though the reform coming on a snail back, because up to now we haven't seen anything, or heard anything. It have been 8 years and they haven't delivered nothing until this date. And it has been passed, the bill has been passed when, a year now, and still nothing. So I don't think that might even come into play. With respect to the property tax. I don't think now is the time for this property tax. I am not against it, but I don't think now is the time. Because there are so much people on the breadline, there are so much people unemployed, there are so much poverty in the country. If this tax is imposed on the people now, that is a recipe for disaster. Trust me. That is my take.
Times are hard. Now,
yes.
Contrary to PNM's campaign of local government reform and property tax, we have the UNC campaigning on secure TNT. Ryan, you want to tell us a little bit about UNC's secure TNT campaign?
Yes, Lisha. Well, as I would have mentioned before, the number one issue that is affecting the country at this time and for a while now actually is that of national security. It has gotten so bad. I have relatives who would have migrated recently, and many are contemplating migrating also. Shane mentioned that within his community, you had a home invasion. Just if you look at the news, about 4 or 5 young men would have been held this afternoon. I looked at it on social media just this afternoon, and I passed them in a police vehicle, a couple Jeeps on the Chase Village flyover this afternoon, about between 3 and 4 p.m. or so. Some young guys. And, when the Commissioner of Police was there, Gary Griffith, the last Commissioner of Police, when he was there, he would have looked at the applications for FULs and so on, and he started issuing, because there was a huge backlog of applications, and you have well-to-do people, you have a lot of businessmen and so on outside there who carry a lot of money on a daily basis, and because of bad policy by the PNM, people were not getting guns. You have to be able to protect yourself, and we saw a lot of people got guns and so on outside there. I would have seen many videos emerging on social media where people were able to defend themselves and so on. And our political leader has indicated that, she would promote you being able to stand your ground, you being able to defend yourself. And whilst I'm telling you that, I am a bit enraged just remembering just about a week ago, a particular senator who paints her entire forehead in red, she saying that the PNM will not support stand your ground. They have no problem with bandits coming in your house and killing you and raping your wives and raping your daughters, right? And mashing up your homes, breaking down your door and so on. I tell you, it is so difficult, Lisha, when I go to walk and I go to campaign and I come back in my community where my house is located. It is in a very lonely location. Right? It is very, very disturbing for me if I come home and I don't see my dogs in my yard and so on, And, that is the number one priority. Now, let me go a bit further. You actually have probably, and I make no apologies for saying this, probably the worst human being we have in Trinidad and Tobago as the Minister of National Security. And you have people defending that nonsense. I'll tell you something. When we had a working government, when we had a serious prime minister between 2010 and 2015, we all saw that if you did not perform, you were removed. You had to perform. There was no room for error because we are here to serve the people. And you have this gentleman, I am not joking, you have this gentleman who stood up in a press conference, standing behind a mic and slept away. That is the Minister of National Security. And he constantly is sleeping in Parliament and so on. And he has the most condescending and arrogant attitude. And he is defended by his Prime Minister. Right? So we need to feel secure. When you when a nation is secure, you could breathe easily and you could enjoy life a little more. I mean, it is really like a domino effect. You can't engage in simple family events and activities anymore because you feel a huge sense of danger outside there. Families need to go out, recreation and so on. You need to, you release some of that stress that you would build up during the week that you work and so on. People can't engage. So one thing is leading to another. Life is getting increasingly frustrating because of these issues of national security. And our political leader has indicated that that is going to be a priority, securing our nation. We need to feel comfortable. That is actually the number one priority of any government, to secure its people.
Ryan, I listened to you talk and I want to applaud you there. I so agree with you from the bottom of my heart. You see, crime, that is the number one problem we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Everything else we could deal with, but people need to go back to feeling safe. We have to feel safe. And this is why we have a campaign called Secure TNT, right? That is our number one problem. We have to fix that problem. Shane, I want to bring you in now. Any comments on the Secure TNT campaign?
Ryan touched basically on everything, but remember part of what our leader spoke about too for secure communities was restarting the community comfort patrol. That was something that was very effective and positive, because in the night you see this light come blinking and in your area, in the community, and you can report to them any issues, anything that you had. And that is not that happening right now, under this government. Also, the leader spoke about the municipal police to improve the numbers in the community police, and that will help greatly too with patrols in your community and crime. They will help the TTPS, and that strength will go a long way. So that is why.
Mention gated communities, and I know San Fernando would greatly appreciate that as well.
Shanta, I'm glad you mentioned that, if you would allow me to. There are quite a number of requests that I have gotten over the years that I've been a councillor from communities located within the roads that belong to the regional corporation. And I remember once taking it very early in the game in my tenure, 2013, 2014, around there. I would have taken a letter of request from a community, a small community within the Talpur community. And they wanted permission to erect a gate to control the traffic in and out and so on. It's a predominantly a farming community where you have 5-acre, 10-acre parcels and so on. And they were experiencing a lot of predial larceny and so on. And when I took it to the regional corporation, to my regional corporation, I was told that, this road is a public road, it is vested and so on, and and you can't block the road and so on. But the crime wasn't so bad before, and we asked them, not to block it and so on. But I'll tell you something. When I get back in office, it is definitely something that I will be lobbying for, and I'm sure all my colleagues, because we are campaigning on this theme of secure TNT. it is something that we're going to look at, to granting approval for communities to seek use, because it is the number one issue, that of national security. And I think that we should be able to give the communities, once we could work together, once the different agencies could get in and get out, once we could have control systems. Why should we stop a community from erecting a gate and protecting themselves? Because if you are not supposed to be in a particular road, why are you going there in the first place? Let there be only, people going in that road should be people who should be there. If you don't have business in a particular road, don't go in there, don't venture there, right? So it is something that I think that my colleagues and I and all the regional corporations should be looking to work towards, and giving people that kind of empowerment. Once we can work in a very harmonious way, and as I say, you have various agencies to they would want to get in and get out and so on. Maybe they could have like a security guard or something. There must be control mechanisms. I saw someone mention there on the chat, freedom of movement. Definitely, you wouldn't want to restrict people movement. But I'm saying, if you are not supposed to be in a particular community, then don't go there. That is very similar to loitering.
Guys, I'm just doing a time check. I cannot believe it is 8:43 already. And to me, we now start to talk, right?
We go till 10 o'clock tonight.
No, honestly, it's like almost as if the conversation now started and it's already 8:43. I want to thank everyone who has joined us on the chat. The chat is actually quite active. And I'm seeing quite a few of our regular members of the audience who are with us every week. So I want to say thanks. A couple of comments, really good initiatives, Shane and Ryan. So the initiatives you all spoke about, they seem to be going on very well with our audience. Ryan, you work really hard to secure your seat. You're already a winner. And I want to endorse that. I follow Ryan a lot on social media. And so those of you all who are interested in what Ryan is doing for his district, you can check out his social media profile. He documents everything, and he is a damn hard worker, I must say. Right? I am seeing here Miss Julie John, assisted by Councillor Ryan Rampersad, with the perfect combination that tried their best to engage the youths into agriculture projects. But we were misled by the uncaring PNM. I religiously hope they grasp the opportunity the second time around as offered by a caring UNC. Kokie Taruba, UNC Shane Samlal, the winner. So Shane, I've seen a few people has put that in the chat, right? We're getting some support here for the stand your ground. Right, I'm seeing quite a bit of support with the stand your ground and increase patrols. So that is the thinking of the audience. Now, Ryan, I know you had sent some photos beforehand, so perhaps I can bring that up and we can just talk a little bit about what these photos are. I hope you all are seeing my screen. Ryan, so you could take the lead on this.
Yes, Alicia. So what you could do, you could probably go back to the picture just before this one. Right. Yeah. So I'll give you an example of how, in the absence of funding, how we are able to work along with communities. So this is a landslip in a road called Dan Trace in the Todswood community. It serves a lot of farmers, and there are a number of residential houses in that community. This landslip broke away because of leaking water mains in that area there. And I'll tell you something, this community, the people live without water until 2013. That is the first thing that I would have lobbied for. Lisha, this is my community, and I going to school in QRC back in the days, we would have had to go to the spring for water. So my dream, really, the number one thing I became a councillor for was to get water in my community, and I got that under the People's Partnership Government, and that is probably my biggest achievement. That was the first thing I ever did, and it remains the biggest achievement, getting water for this community. But as you know, there's a lot of clay soil in this community. You have shifting of the soil, and the water line broke. The community would not have seen it. WASA would not have known until the soil was so saturated that it broke away and formed a landslip. This is what we are seeing there. So the villagers got together, and this is a pic. I want to explain this to you. We did not have the funding through the regional corporation because this would have been close to about $750,000 or more to repair this landslip here. And now you see these guys walking there on a road that is drivable, but it was very horrible prior to that. Lisha, the regional corporation partnered with the community. The community got together and we built a bamboo encasement. This is what it is, a bamboo encasement. We did not have funding, Lisha, to build a retaining wall. So I had to lobby, together with the residents in the area, we had to lobby agencies. Now, eventually, just late last year, we got a new retaining wall built and the road paved and so on. I don't have that picture with me, but we got this entire area fixed. But I just wanted to show you how we can make local government work for the people in the absence of funding. Whilst the people were there suffering, look at this here. The residents cut logs and got old TSTT and TNTEC poles. And we had to bury those as piles. We had to bury those as piles to create a sturdy area. They bought material. Remember I told you about that public-private partnership? We didn't have the funding to buy material, Isha. They dipped in their pockets, the farmers, bought the stone from the Tabakit quarry. We provided the transport in the regional corporation. We provided the excavators and so on. And we got together and how can I say it? We mined this landslip until RDC Rural Development Company got involved and decided to adopt it as one of their projects. And I'm thankful that they did. And I'm thankful to all the officials and all the agencies who would have been involved in lobbying. Look at this. This is a community involvement, Lisha. This is not any big government agency. This is the regional corporation sending in an excavator with some workers, with some villagers. These are logs. These are logs that you see going across horizontally. These are logs that the farmers cut with their power saws and brought it with their tractors and so on. And I'm telling you, this is just one out of 130 landslips that we have across the region. You know the horrible weather we had last year in November, December. Chairman Awong would have mentioned that we have a lot of landslips and we're not getting central government to come into the central areas, right? Look at this. And you know, we got involved. We did not give up and say we don't have the funding. As a councillor, as a representative, Lisha, my approach is always this. I would lay it on the table for you what it is we have. Many times people come to me and say, can we get our roads fixed? And I do not have the funding. So the answer is no at that point in time. However, I don't stop there. I go a bit further and tell them, this is what we have at the regional corporation. This is what we need to get the job done. And I let them know, I give them examples of other projects where communities get involved. They are not, it is not compulsory that they put out money from their pockets to purchase anything if the government is supposed to fix it. But you and I know, and they also know, that it will not be done in the near future. So rather than suffer, Lisha, they decide they will get involved and they will purchase material. So through public-private partnerships, we can get some work done, Lisha, and we have been doing this. And this is an example of one of the areas where if we did not do this, Lisha, this community would have been cut off. They could not get in, they could not get out. And we don't stop there. You know, we don't stop. We don't just tell them we don't have funding, we cannot do anything. We try to find working solutions. And, you know, we go along, but we continue to lobby. It doesn't mean, you know, we take the attention away from central government. We continue to lobby, write letters, hold protests if we have to. But at the end of the day, we have to ensure that people has access, ingress, egress out of their areas, right? And because we would have had people taking the social media once they could not get in or get out and so on. You know, rain fell, you could see the place looking muddy and so on. Now, it is actually a very beautiful site right now. I'm sorry, I didn't take the updated pictures, but it is paved with proper retaining walls and so on.
Ryan, I'm seeing some more photos here. Maybe you could just tell us a little bit about this. It's a computer drive you have going on, right?
Yes, it is. So this is something that is very close to my heart, Lisha, because it is really a continuation of the excellent initiative started by my political leader when she was Prime Minister. That is the laptop program. We know all first formers when they were entering secondary school were given a laptop. And I'll tell you something, up to this day, when I walk around, I meet families who you know, they indicate to me that that laptop would have served not just that child who received it, but other children also. You know that initiative was stopped post 2015. And many families had the laptops from between the 2010-2015 period, and that laptop that the family had would have served. Lisha, fast forward to the pandemic. Children had to learn virtually. They had to learn online. And you're showing my pop-up pictures there. So, yeah, that's okay. So, this initiative really was born out of the need for devices during the pandemic. I had families who had absolutely no devices for their children. And when I drove around the community, I saw children playing throughout the day when they should have been engaged in learning. Now, you may or may not know, I am a teacher by profession, and my wife is also a teacher. And when it comes to education, I will go all out to ensure that children are given an equal opportunity to learn. And when I inquired, I found out that they had no devices. That guy you see in the blue there, he's my very good friend. His name is Ravi. Ravi is one of my burgesses, and Ravi is a computer technician. And Ravi offered to me, this project is more his project than mine. If I am to be absolutely honest, Ravi reached out to me and said, listen, we can help a lot of people. He has access to computers. He has people we can write to, just send up the letters, and I would have sent some letters. He would have sent some. And he told me, this is what we need to do to upgrade these computers. And I would have reached out to some people who I know on my end. We got funding. Initially, one computer was costing us about $800. A desktop doesn't come with cameras, Lisha, but as you know, virtual learning, you had to be on cameras. So we had to equip this with a webcam. We had to buy speakers for some of them. So we got the computer functional to suit the needs of the children. And we started to do 5 at a time, and give the families in need. Now, we prioritized those children who were into the SEA classes because it wasn't a huge bulk that we had. Now, when I started this, I started to get requests from children at every level. Well, parents of the children from every level, first year, second year. Some of them can't even hold a mouse, but people wanted. And I mean, really, there's a need for it. And I got requests from people outside of my electoral district. Recently, I donated 25 to the Mobile Aventil secondary school. There's a guy, his name is Stefan Feldman. Whilst he's a social media influencer, Stefan Feldman is one of the best teachers in the country. And I saw that the work that he was doing, and he had the attention of those children in that area. And, I partnered with him, and we provided some units to his children. So I would have reached a milestone recently, Lisha, of crossing 100 units. To date, I would have donated 110 units, myself and Ravi, and we intend to continue this initiative because there is a need. And I'll tell you something. Whilst I'm a counselor, and I have core duties to perform as a counselor, I always preach this to many of my colleagues. You need to find that inner strength in you. And when you do, I may not be able to pave all the roads and build all the box trains and get all the recreation facilities. All these things fall under the purview of the regional corporation. I would try my very best. But whilst I may not be perfect in that, I have found some strong points outside of my core duties, and I will go all out. So if I can lobby people to come together and bring different parts of the puzzle and let us all work together and provide computers for children, I am going to work on this. I am passionate about this because I see very, very impoverished families being empowered. If I could have shared some of the WhatsApp messages, SEA results came out just recently, Lisha and Shanta, the SEA results come out. And I was very happy, very, very happy when I started to receive messages from many of these children and their parents that they passed for this school and that school and they were recipients of the computers. So I'm seeing our work bearing fruit. And it is really a continuation of the work that was started by my political leader. And I do hope when we return to government that we are in a position financially that we could restart this program for the kids of Trinidad and Tobago.
Ryan, thank you so much for that. And I have to say that's so right. Actually do visual representation of the work. And that's only a very small portion, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, look at his social media profile and you'll see what I mean. It's a very, very small portion of the work that Ryan Rampersad has actually been doing. And there's a lot of endorsement coming for Ryan as counselor, returning counselor. We know that already come August the 14th. We know what the result is going to be. But it's not just about winning the district, it's about the work that you're going to do when you have won and the sort of progress that you're going to bring to the district. And I think we have some excellent candidates who will give us exactly that. Give us results, give us progress, which is what we want. Guys, I cannot believe it is 8:57 because it's like we now start to talk, we now start to talk. In fact, I haven't even officially gotten into the Q&A and the open mic, but let me just say to members of the audience, if you do have any questions, please put them on the chat or raise your hand if you would like to make a contribution, because we are very close to wrapping up the program. It is now 8:57. I have a question to ask both of you all, and I'll start with Shane. Shane, why do you think you are the best candidate for your district?
Well, I'm the best candidate because for the past 20 years, I've been on the ground working with my community. I've been involved in any and everything in my community, from Ram Leela celebrations to Krishna Leela to I also have 2 events I keep. Easter Friday, it's a fun and family day, Christmas treat, so I'm on the ground with the people, from protest to wake, you name it, I'm there on the ground. And now I want to stand for the people.
Wonderful. And Ryan, I know you've shared so much with us, right? That is almost seems like a redundant question, but why do you think you would be the best candidate for your district?
Well, Lisha, firstly, apart from being a councillor, I'm a farmer. I think you would have pulled up one of my pictures from my garden a bit earlier. And my area is predominantly farming. So I have a real appreciation for the challenges and the issues faced by farmers. Me being a farmer myself, I know what they go through, and I know what they need. So I'm able to lobby with a certain level of passion, a certain amount of passion in the regional corporation on their behalf. Just like Shane, I'm a grounds person. I was born and raised in Todd's Road. I still live in Todd's Road. When I went to school, I went to secondary school in QRC. I attended COSTAT after, did an associate's degree in marketing. I did a degree in physical education as a teacher, and I'm presently completing an executive master's in sports management. So although I'm in agriculture, I'm also into sports. Sports is, a passion of mine. I grew up with village Olympics in our communities. I grew up walking from one city to the other. A friendly way of life, Todd's Road and Talparo and Mondo Nuevo and so on. And, and while some areas would be heavily UNC versus some areas heavily PNM and so on, outside of the campaign season, we live in harmony. We have that respect for each other. When it comes to sports, we engage in a lot of sporting activities. You'll have people from different backgrounds coming together and enjoying themselves. You see it when TKR is playing in the Queen's Park Oval or in Barnard Stadium. The entire country comes together. Well, we experience that every day in these small villages. And I experience every pothole. I did a pothole audit recently. The Todd Station Road has 428 potholes. From Talparo Junction to Mondo Nuevo has 328 potholes and 16 landslips. I know, and the reason for that is because I wanted to start to work and do a reduce and balance. Fix 10 potholes per week, and but it's really, these are areas that belong to the Ministry of Works, not the regional corporation. So if I can tell you that there are 428 potholes along the Todd Station Road, I don't think any other candidate in my area knows that, right? But again, I really enjoy living in this community. I enjoy being a part of local government and being able to deliver. And I think with the 10 years experience that I've had, and also having been blessed with excellent council colleagues at CTTRC, we have a certain level of discipline in CTTRC that is probably second to none. I'll boast about that. And we also have that in LHT. There's no room for bacchanal because it is counterproductive. We don't engage in that. It is just understood. There is absolutely no room for bacchanal, and that allows us I mean, it does not mean that you are not allowed to share in having divergent views and so on, but we do it respectfully, and we understand we have one mission: to serve our people and to make our political leader proud, to make our burgesses proud and so on. And when you have that first and foremost in your mind, you know, it allows you to move in the correct direction, if I should say. So probably all these little pointers could lead to answering. I may not have answered the question in totality, but I think I am one of the better candidates to serve the people of not Lahore Talparo, but Londonville Talparo. And I think I am really, really in a strong position to do a lot more now after having been elected on August the 14th.
Gentlemen. Councillor Rampasad, and notice I'm saying Councillor Rampasad and Councillor Samlal. Thank you all. Shanta, sorry for interrupting you.
That's all right. Before we go to closing comments and whatnot, I just have one question for both gentlemen. What message do you have for that first-time voter or that young voter?
Well, I would have to say that the election is about their future, you know, and this is just a stepping stone of getting rid of the PNM with their help. And they will be able to be part of a say, you know, in getting rid of the PNM. And they have to remember too that our government, the United National Congress, they are the ones that gave laptops to children, and the PNM government took it away. So that says something, you know, and the only way for a better education system is under the UNC.
I think Ryan fell off there. Okay, so I guess we could take closing remarks, and since we lost Ryan there. Shane, do you have any final closing remarks for us? Samlal, your UNC local government election candidate for Kokie Taruba. You won't be disappointed, I guarantee you that. Right? Well, it seems as though we have lost Ryan. I don't know if he will rejoin us soon. I would like to say thanks to Mr. Samlal and also Mr. Ryan
very much
for joining us tonight. This certainly, as I said when we first started the conversation, because of the knowledge and the experience that you all come with in local government, I know that this was going to be a very interesting, informative program, and we haven't been disappointed. Now, what we had set out to do was to present the candidates so that the electorate would get to know you all a little better. And I think we achieved that objective here tonight, because certainly we got to know you all a little better. We understand now a bit more about your vision. What are some of your principles and some of your values? What are some of the plans you all have for the district? And a lot of the initiatives that you all would have mentioned resonated very well with members of the audience based on what we are seeing on the chats. So on that note, I would like to, apart from saying thank you all again very much, and thanks to the members of the audience for joining us. Let me see, I just got a message from Ryan. Let me see what has happened.
I hope that wasn't any kind of tool to get Ryan to stop talking, you know. But tonight's discussion was very informative. It was a lively discussion. I think this episode really, I don't want to be biased or anything, but it was really one of our best episodes throughout this local government campaign. And Alicia, if I'm not mistaken, is this what episode of Critical?
Local government. This is the 7th installment we've had of local government.
Right. Thank you to our young, vibrant, hardworking panel this evening. It's always warm and welcoming to see persons interested in serving the people and public service. I know the mantra of the UNC's political leader is serve the people, and I can see the potential in both Shane Samuel and Ryan Rampersad in executing the mantra of their political leader. To Ryan and Shane, on behalf of the Campus Foundation and Critical Conversations, we wish you both all the best on the campaign trail, and we know and we are comfortable that under UNC councillors and a UNC performance beats all talk, and victory will definitely be yours. To our viewers, thank you all for tuning in every week, our loyal supporters. Thank you for your continuous support. Special mention to Archie and douglAR Politics, who would be streaming Critical Conversations right after douglAR Politics tonight. And
right, so it is something that I think that my colleagues and I and all the regional corporations